Testing. System ready.
Detected the vehicle has stopped. Start to record video.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today on Customer States What? Customer States, my brake pad warning light came on in the cluster. Please check and advise. We'll say no more, fam. We got you. You know who we got? We got CSW in the shop. We got Lexor back in the shop. And what are we doing today? Well, we're doing front brake pads. Oh, they're over there. Rotors. And we got sensors for both sides. Very good. You know what comes next. Well, let's take it up top. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. We have all the wheels off, and as you can see, we got some good flavor going. Well, there's nothing good about this flavor here. You know where we're at, man. We're right in the rust belt. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray a little bit of PB Blaster on the points of where the hardware are, because we're going to reuse, I believe, this and the pins and this guy right here. Or maybe not. I think this came with the sensor, but just in case, we're going to treat this brake job as we're going to reuse all the hardware just in case. So let's get involved. Very good. Spray a little bit in there. Oh, a little too much. A little there. Just enough. Very good. And we're going to do this exact thing to the other side. Alright, now, what we're going to do is we're going to remove all the hardware, and then we're going to compress our pistons. Okay guys, that was pretty easy. I was able to remove the wear sensor with no problem. I was able to remove the little paperclip looking thingamajiggy hardware looking guy, and I was able to put it over here, as we could see. We'll leave that attached. That'll aid us in installation. So now what we're going to do is we got to remove these pins, and be aware of the orientation of this clip right here, because I just looked at all the new parts and none of this hardware was included, unfortunately. So we're gonna make do. We're gonna make do. That's one. And two. Very good. Alright, so this guy's going to be on the bottom, as we can see. And we're just going to aid that pin. Very good, this guy. Alright. Now we're going to take our pins and take them to the wire wheel and clean them up. Here's our clip, or spring clip. We got to save this. Alright, it only goes in one way. Giggity. Now we're going to compress our pistons. Alright guys, so there's a number of ways to compress the piston with these if you don't have a special tool. So I like to use a pry bar, and I start with the outside pad first, and you just give it a pry. Slowly and surely that piston is going to go in. See? Then once you have the room, you can go to this side, and you could stick a screwdriver in here like so, or a pry bar, and then you could compress the rest. Very good. And then as you can see, the rotor just freed up. Now we can get something in on this side and compress this side. But what you have to do before you do that, you stick a screwdriver in on this side to take up that space that you just gave, or excuse me, that you just created. Because if you just compress this side without holding that space, these pistons are going to come back out. So let's get the other side compressed. So we're just going to get it in on this side first, and then hold that side. Very good. You could also turn the wheel to aid this, but We're riding on the struggle bus today. Why not, right? There we go. We got a good bite right there. Very good, very good, very good. So now, meow, should be able to just remove our pads like so. And now since we have our pads out, what we're going to do is we're going to clean the surfaces where the pad sits or where the pad rides along. So here we're going to clean, here we're going to clean, there, and we're going to clean the piston surface before we take the caliper off. You don't want to do that after you put the new rotor on, because there's chances of contaminating the new rotor, and in this case we could contaminate the old rotor all we want. Very good. So what we do is we spray the area with brake clean, and we get our wire brush and we just get up in there, clean the area. Get this side up here, get this side up here, get the piston, and then you get your brake clean. Let that dry, then we take the caliper off and continue. Very good. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. We got the caliper off, we got the rotor off. We also cleaned the hub here as much as we could. We also needle scaled. We had to descale a little bit of gugats around from the area. Looks like we still got a little bit to go here and here. But then after that's all finished, we'll put a little bit of high temp anti-squeal. But one thing, depending on the vehicle, my vehicle just so happens to have directional rotors. As you can see with the fins, they're facing a certain way. Some rotors will be labeled. If they are not labeled, just the way they came off, if the fins are facing this way, that's the way you put the new one back on. Match the way you took it off. Very good. Let's finish this up and get the new rotor on, and I'll show you a little trick I do with the brake pads. Very good. Okay guys, here we have our brand new brake pads. We have our grease ready to go. Now here's the special sauce. We got our BG stop squeal that we actually put directly on the pad surface, and you just rub it in. Rub it in real good. It's gonna dry, don't worry. It may look wet now, but it'll eventually dry in a couple of moments. So we do this, and you know what? I've been doing this almost every freaking brake job for the past 15 years since I got introduced to this product. And it's not a paid sponsorship. This is just something I use on my brake pads on every customer job too. And it ensures that they won't squeal when I'm done. Or at least that's what they advertise, and so far so good. I've been using it for a while now, and I'll continue to use it until it fails on me. It hasn't failed me yet, but you know, things could happen. Things can always happen, especially when it's my car. Alright, very good. I even do this sometimes. Just speeds up the dry process. Don't do this near any open chemicals, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if my grease is flammable or not, but I sure as hell moved it, just in case. Oh, it will flame. Go out. Go out. Alright, very good, very good, very good. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. Now that we're up to this part, we transferred over our hardware. We're just going to put a little bit of grease along here. I'm going to put a little bit of grease along here. We're also going to put grease on the caliper side as well. We're just prepping the pads for installation, and we're going to do that to all 4 pads when we are ready. Very good. Tips and tricks, guys, to hold the rotor in place. I install a lug nut, that way it's not going to move on me when I install the caliper, and that's only if there's no hold down screw or anything like that. Now let's get back to the caliper here. As you can see, we put grease there, all of our contacts where the pad contacts the caliper, and we also put a little bit on the piston face on all 4 of them. Very good. Let's get the caliper on and the pads in. Well, would you look at that? I was able to put everything back into place, and not for nothing, I was able to reuse this wear sensor. It wasn't worn down all the way. This sensor actually wasn't giving me the warning. Let's see how this one is. This one is in contact with the rotor. I could see that. That may have tripped. I don't know. I might have to replace that one, but let's go to the freaking elephant in the room. Look at what's left of that brake pad. If you can't see what's left, well, that's because it looks like there's not that much left there. There's something there. There's nothing there, not nothing there, but there's a little bit, and that's most definitely what tripped my light. And Goomba me didn't even look at the rear brakes. I just knew I had some noise coming from the fronts, and I saw all this Guggen's rust. Well, we had to do the fronts, but now we know for a fact we really have to do the rears. So let's continue. Alright, very good, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing to continue on this side. We already brake cleaned the rotor because there was a light oil layer on it from shipping. So we cleaned the rotor, put that on. You saw what we did with the caliper, how we greased certain points. You saw what we did with the pins. They're looking real clean because we took it to the lathe over there and the wire wheel. Or excuse me, yeah, the wire wheel. And we got everything in place now. So meow, we just got to do the other side. Very good. Tips and tricks of the video, guys. Before you even start this car, or before you start any brake job, when you're finished, this is what you do. I can't stress this enough. The moment you're done and the car is on the ground, this is what you do. You pump up your brakes. Very good. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. We are all done with our brake job, our front brakes. And not for nothing, we really did need to do the front brakes. Because look at that brake pad. It was wearing abnormally. You can see there's a lot of pad material there and pretty much nothing right there. So yeah, we know what we got to do. We got to do the rear brakes next. But until next time, guys, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for further content.